There was a survey carried out last summer in June by Quizlet. If you're familiar with this AI, is a flashcard, online flashcard study tool. And there were altogether 1,500 participants actually participate in this survey. 1,000 of them are students and 500 of them are teachers at either secondary or college level. And I'd like to play a little game with you before we start. Do you think it's higher or lower? 50% of students said that ChatGPT and similar AI tech tools impacted their overall learning experience. You can just unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. Do you think it's higher than 50 or lower than 50%? Higher, right? Lower? Higher. Quite a lot of higher. Higher, definitely, yep. All right, let me respill the answer, what they found. You're right, for the higher people, depends on location, which is true. You're definitely absolutely right. This survey is carried in the US. I couldn't find the one in Hong Kong. I really do, but then currently I don't think there is one actually done in Hong Kong, or I haven't been able to get hold of. But this is from the US. So from the 54%, 44% of the students said that they use AI or ChatGPT for research. 38% for summarizing, and finally 33% say that they actually use it for study guides and materials. Now, here is higher and lower for teachers. Do you think is it higher than 50 or lower than 50 of the teachers that the technologies have positively impacted their workload, meaning it reduced their workload? Higher or lower? Way higher. Okay. Lower? One set lower? Any more? Higher? Listed higher? Any other people want to guess? Okay, I'm going to just show everyone the answer. Level of exposure matters. Yes. Interestingly, slightly lower, but close to 50% of the teachers in the States that they have positive experience with lower their workload, with 38% said that they generate lesson plans using ChatGPT or AI tools, or generate classroom materials, which actually brings into my next topic of today, which is what we are going to do today. But first, before we start, do you use AI or tech tools for work? Just want to have a general feeling of what the audience like. Yes? Or you can also enter what ChatGPT or what word wall. Okay. I know that. I like that one, word wall. Any other? In fact, word wall is actually one of the tool I want to go through very briefly today. Bing and Copilot. Yes, I used Copilot before. Very recently, they updated Copilot. Poe and Magic School. I love those two. I use those two. And actually, two of the tools we will be going over today. So feel free to chip in if you actually know a lot of things about the tool that we are going to go through today. So let's get down to it. So here's the outline of what I'm going to go through very quickly with some examples in each of the sessions of the tools and sample activities we can use with students. So lesson planning, lesson resources creation based on the survey, that's what the teacher actually use most. Inside and outside classroom activities, and finally class and learning management. One thing I want to note is that you may find some of these tools can be used for more than one purpose. There can be other creative ways of using them. The tools we'll be taking a look today are either free or have a free plan that lets you use them with some restrictions at the moment. Why I emphasize at the moment is because things are developing so quickly. One day they may have a free plan, the next day they may actually have certain restriction on top of it. So, so you have to actually check when you actually use it, make sure you check very carefully about the restriction of the plan. Okay, let's get down to it. So lesson planning and ideas generation, I think is quite useful for most teacher, here are some ideas about generating for your own use, like lesson outline activities, generate just a debate, discussion topics, or actually for other usage that maybe used less often, like generating role play scripts, or actually even for differentiation of activities, let ChatGPT to tell you some ideas on how to differentiate different activity levels or material that have different kind of level for your students. So here are the ChatGPT that I actually use, experience myself. Any of you in the audience use any of this? I know previously someone said Poll, but anyone actually used Capacity Copilot? Someone said Copilot before. How about Germany, Pi or Talk AI? All of them, wow. You are actually very close to the trend. Germany, yes, the latest one. All of them. Any others? Or are there any other ChatGPT that actually is not displayed on the screen here that I haven't mentioned? Any good ones that you've used before? Nope. Okay. Well, for generating prompts and for lesson plan outlines, let's actually have a try. Okay, before we go into it, there are a couple prompting tips before I actually get into for demonstrations. When you actually generate any lesson ideas or prompt, do you actually specifically use any tips or any structure? Well, here is the structure I use on the screen, which is task, context, character, formatting, and citing when I actually try to get into more specific, generate more useful results. Any other things that you actually generate ChatGPT giving prompts? Not listing here, this within this 5 general area. I have an example. I do. So here's an example, sample prompt generating lesson plan and endangered animals. Let's actually do one example. So this is Poll. If you're not familiar with Poll, the reason I use it is because a lot of people actually use it. Let's say assistant. Let's say I want to just generate a lesson about endangered animals. This is for those of you who never actually used ChatGPT before. So automatically, Poll already gives me a lot of ideas about the lesson plan for endangered animals. But if I want to get into more detail of the format that I like to, this is one of the example I can use. Let's copy. You don't have to separate like me, task, character, context, and format. I just want to give you a better idea about it. So you can see ChatGPT. It's great, but it's not the format I like to use. So if I actually paste it, give it more idea, I want a grade 3 lesson. It's a 40 minutes lesson instead of a 1 hour lesson. I already in the prompt clearly include the objectives. And the structure I'm telling ChatGPT is engage, study, and activate, which is one of the lesson plan structure that Chatteris use. And on the prompt, as you can see right here, I ask it to use that format. And when it generates the result, it gives me study, activate 15 minutes, and give me some choices of pair and group activity and homework and a conclusion. So that's the format that I really like. So when you actually generate using ChatGPT to give more details about it, using the prompt right here. There you go. To generate more useful results. Because if you actually just type in very general things, it will just give you whatever it wants. It's the more detail you give in the prompts, then the more valid or more useful result you will generate. Okay, so that's one example of ChatGPT. There are other, if you actually wonder what capacity is look like, this is one of them. Perplexity right now, they have a collection. So I already have lesson planning and also vocation planning here. And then you can actually just click onto the collection and then begin your prompts with ChatGPT. And that's the threads that I used previously. How can I engage student and interactive English lessons for secondary one student? And I carry on the conversation with capacity. So that's another one that I use very often, and I found the layout is quite clear. So let's carry on. So besides ChatGPT, somebody actually mentioned Magic School. These are 4 or 5 of the apps that I came across that actually are more specific for lesson planning. And they do have other functions as well, but it's more specific for lesson planning. Anyone actually used any of this besides Magic School? Anyone actually used EduAid, CareerPod, or Class, or Auto Classmate? Nope. Okay, let me show you Ed2Ed, which is similar to Magic School. But right off the bat, you see the dashboard I have right here. If I am let's say do a demo, I am a language arts teacher on the top subject. Grade level, I enter grade 6 to 8. And also at the bottom, very bottom, I can enter a topic for my lesson, let's say amazing animals. And there's an enhance button because it's too simple. I want to enhance it. And it gives me a better topic. So right off the bat right here, student will develop understanding of diverse characteristic adaptations of amazing animals. And then I can say add to, keep blocking my way, there you go, workspace. And on the right, it generates the whole lesson plan for me. That's one way of actually having the lesson plan. Why I'm actually introducing this is because there are other functions as well. You can carry on your lesson plan by having engaged activities and start adding more to your lesson plan on the right. So I choose engaged activities, add to the workspace, and it will continue to give me more things at the bottom. As you can see now, 5 activities to get students' attention, quick quiz, other things. Would you rather questions? So I'm not going to go into more detail, but there's so many other functions here that you can continue to add stuff to the right to your lesson plan. So that's one of the things that I like for this platform. Magic School, someone used the Magic School. If I actually misinterpreted, you can correct me for that person who mentioned that you actually use Magic School. So again, for here, you have so many different functions that you can actually use. But one of them is actually just lesson planning. For example, you can generate multiple choice assessment. You can actually chat with the AI bot now to create your lesson plan. I'm just gonna quickly browse through the platform here for you to take a look at. So vocabulary generators, stories, lesson plan, 5E model lesson plan. If you click into it, again, you can choose, let's say, grateful, the topics that I just used before, and then you can add in any additional customization optional, and then generate. And it's according to the 5E model lesson plan that it gives me the layout of the lesson that you can adapt to. You don't have to use it directly, but you can adapt to it, instead of starting from scratch. CareerPod is something different. So for example, this is the dashboard of CareerPod. If you click into full lesson, let's say grade 5, again, amazing animals, let's say, do the magic. It will generate a lesson. Instead of lesson plan or lesson outline, it will create something else. It'll take a moment. Let's wait. Will we slow the network? Let's give it a minute. If not, then I think maybe it's a lot of traffic at the moment. That's why. Oh, there you go. So instead of lesson outline, it gives you slides. Some ready-to-go slides for your student is still generating. So as you can see, it's actually the whole PowerPoint with beautiful animation and something to start with, so you don't have to create from scratch, along with open questions, drawing activities for your students, and other information, and even a poll. So that's one thing I think is very cool with this platform. Instead of a lesson plan, it creates a whole PowerPoint for you. So for the other two, I'm not going to go over because they're very similar. Those are the three that I would like to show you for the demonstration of more specific lesson plan generation. Any questions so far about the three platforms before we continue? Are there no subscriptions? Sorry, I just missed your questions. There are subscriptions for pay, but then as a free version, you can generate what I've just done because all of the platform login today that I use are free subscription. So everything I've done today is for free. But of course, for more features, unlimited usage, you can subscribe for the paid version. But I think for my own use, I don't need to pay. I'm very happy with just the free version. Okay. So the next one is resource creations. There's so many things you can create for your lessons, including presentation, worksheets, generation questions, or if you're doing reading lessons, or generating or creating videos, and also reading differentiation. Why I actually use more reading and storybook is because Chatteris actually is doing supporting English program in the school. So today, everything that the examples that I'm gonna show is more geared toward English language learning. But by no means all these tools can be used for all other subjects. So the first one I like to use for presentation is Canva, which is a very common one. But I'm not sure if everyone is actually familiar that Canva has so many great templates and so many great features. You can actually make it more appealing for the presentation. What you're seeing right now is one of the templates from Canva. It's just a template ready to go about the planet Earth. And this could be for your science class to explore the Earth stats and everything about the Earth and for the students, which is more appealing, more interaction with the students. Another one I like to highlight is the use of Padlets. Anyone actually use Padlets here? Nope. No one. Padlet has so many, yes. Maybe you can chip in and let me help me explain what Padlet is. Padlet has go through major upgrades. Of course, Padlet has so many different templates. Not yet. It's okay. Maybe you can try. The one I use more often is just their command board right here. If you actually go inside tab Padlet, should log in. Oh. This is only one way that you can use Padlet. For example, the topic again is planet Earth. Instead of one single presentation on the top right here is my presentation of using Canva that you actually look at. I just add the link. It is shown on the left. But I have more information to add on to the introduction of planet Earth. So I add in a picture of it. And the student actually go to this Padlet and get all the information all on one single place instead of different worksheets and different platforms. And then after that, after the introduction, maybe on the second column, you can have more detail. This is the YouTube videos, 2 YouTube videos that the students can read. And then finally, recent news about Earth. And what Padlet update recently is that they actually allow more function like slideshow. If you actually want to show slideshow, you can definitely do that, just like a PowerPoint. It starts with planet Earth, which is on the left column that you just saw. And if you actually, hold on, actually in my way. There you go. So introduction, and then that's the PowerPoint you saw with Canva template. And then the next slide, which is the layers of Earth, the picture. And then the second column, which is all the YouTube videos, you can watch it directly. And then recent news. So that's one way you can present it in your lesson to keep everything in place. Any other ways that you use Padlet in the audience? That any different ways that you want to share? It's okay if you don't. Okay, let's carry on then. So the next one is online worksheets. A lot of teachers having worksheets for students. I know that we're going back to in-person, so a lot of teachers started giving students a paper version of it. But I think one good practice could stay is online version worksheet, which actually lower your workload and save time. And you can reuse it over and over again without actually printing them out. And one example I like to show is live worksheets here. What I like about it is, unlike Kahoot or other quiz platform, it actually allows you to upload the original worksheet in PDF or image format, just like this one. So this one is actually, I didn't do this. This one actually one of the real worksheets uploaded by teachers. And then after that, at the back end, she lets create the multiple choice questions. So here you can say, I play, he plays, and then at the bottom, they can submit it by the students. You can do this anonymously without login, but if you want to keep track of students will have to create an account on live worksheets so that you can keep track of which worksheet they actually done and also keep track of the mark. So the good thing again is if you've done this, then it will give auto marking for the student right away, or you can delay the process to give them the mark later at a later stage. Another, beside multiple choice, you could do drag and drop. For example, regular verb like right here, irregular verb eat. And then at the bottom, student can do enter short answer, one word answer, and then they can click finish to submit it. Another form that they actually can use is actually adding listening exercise directly on your worksheets if it's a listening like this one. And then the students can click true or false according to the listening audio. Again, they can listen to it and then do short answers. And they can actually watch a YouTube, so you can embed the whole YouTube on the same worksheet instead of different things everywhere. And then after that, they can do a longer answer. Oh, sorry. I'll try to get closer. Thank you. And then click finish after they're done. So this is one platform I quite like to use with my worksheets for students. Okay. Let's get to the next one. The next one is quiz generation. The two that I had experienced before is Quiz Gecko and also Answer Well. I'm just going to use one of them to show you because of timing. So one of them is a question well. As you can see, if you want to generate any questions, you can actually do multiple choice and then choose 5, 10, or 20. However, if you use This is Quiz Gecko, it allows you for the free account to do multiple choice, true or false, short answer, fill in the blank, and matching. So what you have to do is just to copy and paste your text, your reading, here in this box, and then choose language is English. Go. And then easy, medium, or hard, just to generate it. And maximum question. As you can see, pay, you have to, if you do 15 questions, is pay. But 5 or 10 questions is fine. I'm not going to generate it because it may take time. So you can actually try on your own to copy and paste, or just have a topic. Well, maybe let's do it. Amazing animals. I like that topic. Let's say children's. Adaptation, animal behavior, animal habits. And this one is a little bit faster, hopefully. Again, it will take a minute to generate. There you go. So it even gives me a banner, beautiful banner, and then it has 5 different true and false. And it will generate more questions. I think I put 10, but because of the network today, I think it's a little bit slower. So you get the picture about it. The next activity is a storybook. I think it's actually one of the most talked about by a lot of industry, not necessarily just education. I used it just a month ago to create my own storybook. What I've done is I asked ChatGPT to give me a script, and I copy and paste onto Canva. And this is one of the storybook. So this is actually a template from Canva. As you can see, on the side, there is some template that I can actually use, generate from Canva about the story. You can find a higher level of ability. I just choose this one for little kids. And Canva right now lets you record or add your audio. If you're not aware of it, it's on the side. On upload. And then if you choose audio, you can actually record yourself or upload files. Let's say I want some music for this. I can add it, and it will have that audio for my storybook for the students. If you choose to record yourself, that's fine. But one of the things that I like to do is because there are certain characters in the story and I want to have different voice, then I will use a text to audio software like 11 Labs, for example. Okay. Can you hear the sound? Nope. Okay, let's.
Through research, observations, and presentations.
There you go. Okay. And if you don't like Daniel, you can actually choose other character. There's so many of them girls and with different accent. If you actually log in, it gives you more options to choose. Do you want American accent? Do you want British accent? Do you want a Asian accent? And you can choose from the accent, you can choose boys and girls. And each of the country accent, they have boys and girls for you to choose. So that's one of the platform I'd like to use to generate voice for my storybook. Okay. And beside voice, you will need lots of images. And these are some of the image generators I use. Before we get into that, that's the Canva. Let's get back to Canva. I think starting last month, they add a lot of apps. On the right, you see I go to the apps tab. And when you actually enter, let's say, image, there are a lot of apps actually let you generate AI image right now, according to your needs. I install some of it that I use more often, like anime style. Let's say a girl in red. Yes. And create. It'll take a few seconds for creation. And then AI should actually generate an anime style, a girl in red dress for you. And we'll take a moment. Kind of slow today, but that work. While we're waiting, on the left, you can see I have so many other, oops. Because I moved, it doesn't work. Sorry. But on your own, you can try at your free time. Other ones that I like to do is search, sketch. You sketch something and then AI can actually generate things according to your sketch. And then you can generate, give a little description of what it is, and then hit generate. One that people use quite often is actually upload your own photo and make it comic. And that's quite handy to do. It's called Cartoonify. And you can feel free to try many other apps that I haven't actually shown you today, like Pixelit, Sketchify, AI image generation. And each of them have limits. So you can generate free. Some of the apps, they reset the limits, maybe daily, maybe monthly. Some of them may have credits. Once you use up all the credits, that's it. And that's why on the slide right here, I have other options for you. Free text, Leonardo, I use quite a lot. Another one I quite like you to use is Poll. Anyone actually use Poll to generate picture images? Nope. So no, let me show you. Poll now, explore. When you actually see there's so many chatbot, one of them is Stable Diffusion XL, which is I actually here image generation, which is a AI image generation app. On the right, I have an image already, AI tools for teacher, 3D realistic. That's my earlier prompts, and it gives me this. So free, because of the network very slow today, I'm not going to do a demonstration. It'll take a long time. So free to add in any prompts on your own and then try just generate AI directly in Poll if you actually use Poll very often. It's quite handy. Right. So the next one, oh, actually, I show you an image. This is what I run by Copilot just earlier today, and I just chip in. So the prompt I use is on the lower left. It gives me 4 giant panda picture, and I choose one, which is the upper left corner right here. When I choose it, on the right, it rolls up in a bigger picture, and at the bottom, it gives me choices of switching the style of the image. For example, pixel, watercolor, block print, or other formats of the picture. Then I can share it or download it. So that's Copilot if you use that. Okay. You may actually interested in generate videos. And the one that I quite like is Gemo or Fricky. Gemo or Fricky. Of course, you can actually use Canva for video. On top of Canva, let me switch off to Canva. Oh, not this one. So let's say Canva. On top, if you want to create it, you can actually create a new one, create a design using video instead of storybook. So if you want video, you can click video. And then it will give you a template for generating video, and you can start doing it and pulling some of the template on the left. Let's say I like this, and then I can add it to my PowerPoint slide. But if you don't like it, you can give it a prompt on the top, like I want a cat. And then there's some cat template that you can actually pull to the right. So that's one way of using Canva. As I said, I quite like the other Gemo. This is the Gemo's dashboard. As you can see at the bottom, the sample video generated by other people. You just have to describe your video here or upload your image as well to turn your image into a video. And that's very fun. Another one I like to do is Flicky. I'm not sure if I can actually do it. What you have to do is click new file, enter file name, amazing animals, dialect, could be UK, let's say US. Start with an idea, English, portrait, submit. And it actually gives you the whole video. Idea plan, sing. Animals and the behavior. And then hit submit. Allow. And then in a moment, it actually creates a whole video for you with voiceover. This one is quite handy. This one, it runs on credits, but it actually restarts each month. So if you're not using quite often, then I think this is enough for you. So you can see each scene, it has the basic script already with the scenery and also the voice. And you can actually, this one is Sarah, you can actually change to different voice. There's some free one, maybe I like Elizabeth, and then you can choose Elizabeth and select. So this is one of them I think is quite useful for generating your basic draft video for any of your materials. CapCut is it's not a video generator, but it's a good online video editing platform. So if you don't want to install or download any software onto your laptop, then CapCut right here, it's good. And I used it quite a lot to cut my video. Okay, let's get to the next one. The next one I'd like to bring to your attention is reading differentiation. With Magic School, you can actually do it as well if you haven't tried the function of it. Let's go to the Magic School. Let's go back. So information tags. You can actually say grade 3, and then you can actually choose exploratory, argumentative, procedural. And then you can actually, one page, one paragraph, again, amazing animals. Hit generate. And then that's the basic of the reading text you can actually give to your students. So that's one way of actually differentiating, choosing different grade level for your reading materials. Another one is defeat. Defeat. This one right here. Defeat is a little bit different. You can actually literally enter a theme topic like what I just done with Magic School. Or if you have a video or article that you think is too high or too easy for your student, you can just enter the URL here. You can keep the original or actually choose the grade level and then hit generate. Or if you want to copy and paste your text here, and then again, choose the grade level and then hit generate. And that will actually help to regenerate the whole article for you, which I think is quite handy. Brisk teaching is similar, so I'm not going to go over it, but you can actually definitely go over it on your own at your own time. But it's similar to Magic School and Defeat. Any other questions about this? Okay, the next one. So the next session is inside, outside classroom activities. There's so many things as listed on the slide that you can do. I'm going to quickly go over some of the tools for each of it, 9 sample activities for you. I know a lot of people use Kahoot. Anyone use Kahoot here in this room? But it's actually paid now, right? I don't think there's a free plan for Kahoot anymore. But there are other alternatives that I use currently beside Kahoot. Somebody mentioned WordWall as one of my favorite in the middle right here. BookKit is quite different experience. So this is the BookKit. dashboard. So for example, amazing animal, I want to assign it. You can choose different game mode. It's like a video game kind of format mode for students instead of just quiz, answering multiple choice. You can choose tower defense or other cafe. If you actually play the game where you have to put eggs, sausage on different plates, that's the game that the students have to play. They answer correct answer, and that will give them credits to continue playing and preparing food for their customer. So that's very fun for primary. I think lower secondary actually quite like the other more silly game, Tower of Doom, and you can explore that. Another one I like to use, one of the person put in the chat is word wall. So I have a demo right here. This one is just word wheel that some of our tutors may use in their lesson. When you start, so this lesson, you may actually have a sentence for the students, and you can just spin it and then ask the students to, according to what it is, they have to use it in a sentence if it's a vocabulary. But what I want to highlight is on the right. With the same question, you can actually choose to change the mode or the format. You can actually have random cards instead of the word wheel if the students are too tired of the word wheel. So you can have random cards. So you deal, rhyme time. You deal again, define. And other format could be word search. Again, if it's vocabulary lesson, you can actually use it very quickly, switch back and forth to different activities for the students. So that's one of the game I quite like. Quizlets, which is the survey that I talked about at the beginning of the webinar, is like a flashcard. For example, study tool that I quite like. For example, global warming, and then it actually students read it, and then they have to guess is global warming. And then the list card, they can say it's no already, and then you can display the question and then the answer. So it's quite good for the students, or just flick back and forth inside a lesson for students to have the answer. That's Quizlet. Besides the flashcard, you can actually turn it into a matching activity or just a quiz, classic life, matching. Start the game. So it's just matching 0.5, maybe it's this one, and I'm right. So you actually, again, you can switch back and forth the mode instead of just flashcard. Another one I like to use is Jeopardy, which is very good for secondary students. This is already a demo on the screen right now on their front page. So students can choose if you are actually having a lesson about water cycle and clouds or geography, then the student choose water cycle 100, and that's the question, and they have to answer it. And then we have spacebar, that's the answer. What is the water cycle? Again, 500 for clouds, tall and dark clouds, that means thunderstorms with heavy rain and strong winds. And then hit the spacebar again, that's the question. What is a cumulonimbus cloud? Quite hard to pronounce this one. So that's one of the quiz I like with the secondary, but primary can also do it with not that many categories on the top, maybe 2 or 3. For secondary, I think 5, 4, 5 would be good. Okay, quizzes and quiz.com are very similar to Kahoot. So I'm not going to show it because the layout is very similar. It's just multiple choice quizzes. But they do have other functions, but mostly is people use it for multiple choice quizzes. Brainstorming, there are a lot of brainstorming activities maybe in your lesson that it would be good if the student can save their work and access it at home instead of on a paper form. It'd be very useful. One of the one that I use quite often is very versatile with Canva because they have so many templates, and brainstorming whiteboard is one of them. But you can also try My Field board because it has a very simple layout as displayed here on the left. That's My Field board. But with Canva, there's so many templates you can do. We're already here already. So this is only one of the templates I actually came across, which is a mind map. And on the left, you see there's so many other alternatives you can do. Maybe I don't like this. I can do this. Quickly you swap to another template. And then when you share with student, you don't want student to mess up with your template, you can share. And then you can share as a template with your students instead. So you can actually present it or share as a template on the left to create a template. There you go, template. Hit template, and then there will be, oh, where's the template? So if you share as a template, then the students can actually copy your template and then work on their own without messing your original file. It's one of the icon on the right here. Okay. So another activity is discussion. Padlet, besides displaying information, can also do discussion as well. If you try that before, it's fun. Find the Padlet. There you go. So for example, let's say source story here. Padlet actually upgrade a lot of function. If you actually go to setting, you can set the appearance, layout, and most importantly, the engagement. You can turn on and off comments. As you can see on the right, you see no comments, just display information or adding comments for students to leave their comments. And you can actually create poll, like poll, star, or even grading. Give it 1 to 100 or 1 to 50 grade for students. And save it. And then you see on the left, immediately you see the grading, but the students actually grade different things. One of the things I like to highlight is actually, if you want to differentiate it to have different groups, let's say the first group of students, you want just display chess. The second group displays Chatteris. What you do is the 3 dots right here. And then they have actually, oh, nope. Sorry, couldn't find the button again. So you can actually share the different chats to just one group of students or Tetris for another group of students. But I couldn't find the button right here. Or, okay. Supposed to be, sorry, there's supposed to be a button. Maybe they moved this somewhere. It's called breakout discussion, where you can actually have different students looking at different sections of your discussion. I'll find it later, which is somewhere here. Activity. So maybe they moved that button somewhere. It should be here. But anyway, that is what it is, using breakout discussion features. I'll actually include this in the demonstration on the PowerPoint. I missed it. But you actually can use it in class or assignments and then have different group of students doing different discussion on the same board, not looking at the other groups. Great. The other one is Yellow, if you're interested in debate. Which is this one. So I already have one, which is should animal testing be banned? And this is one of the discussion. And I can say enter. There's some people already. So it's very clean layout where you only have pro side and con side, and student without login, student there's no need to create account. Student can create pros and cons right on the back, and then start typing. It's good for individual activity or group activity where you can just brainstorming group before in-person debates or after class debate for individual reflections. And also there's a vote function for pros and cons to vote for different claims. So you can back over voting. So there are a lot of very clean layout for idea brainstorming for your debate. Next one may be less used by people, which is role play with AI. Has anyone actually play with ChatGPT just to have a game? Oh, let me show you. This is a Hello History where you can actually talk to a lot of historical people alive or passed away already. For example, Asian world, you can talk to different people. And what's the other one? Environmental history, and those are some of the famous people who are in environmental history. But keep in mind, this is more for native English speaker. And that's why I want to point out you can use other things to create your AI bot. This is Speak Live AI. For example, you are a pilot based in Hong Kong. If you're having a career-based lesson with your students, and then create. And then you will have an AI bot specifically about being a pilot. And then student can start actually talking with the AI. Okay. Another one you can use if you want to create your bot is, again, poll. On the side, you can see I have one called Giant Panda. I actually told ChatGPT, you are a giant panda. So if you actually can see my prompt right here. So this is my prompt for the chat. You are a giant panda, help students, primary 2 students, English language learners who have very low English proficiency to understand animals and importance of protecting them. So that's the AI bot background. And students, when they talk to this AI, all the topics should be around giant panda. So you actually can create something like this along the line for your lesson to lighten up your lesson a little bit. Okay. Next one is storytelling, story writing. If you actually want to switch the whole thing online, there you go. This one. So this is an online story writing board for students. For example, I have one about Disney story writing as an example. You can see the layout. You can set the template for students. Sorry, for students to fill out any problem or having images. Let me go back to show you the actual template. So let's say news article here. That's a better view. So you can actually write your template about animals and then share this template with your students, or add at the bottom right, you can have signal words for your students before, during, or any important words or vocabulary that you would like your student to add. You can say amazing. And then you can set your word count as well for the document, and then send this to the students, and students can complete this online and submit it online for you. So if you don't like news article, you can actually choose other format or create a blank one of your own, and then you can use it over and over again, and you don't have to keep updating the template. Okay, quickly go over to next one because we only have a few minutes left. It's movie poster. You can see that you can actually use Canva as one of the examples to showcase students' presentation. You can ask the students to actually create visuals with titles, with tagline, and also give you a 300 words review credits as well. I will answer that maybe later after I go over everything at the end of the session, okay? So one of the things I discovered is songwriting, which is very fun. You can actually use the app here called Suno. And then the writing prompt could be write anything. This is for writing. Theme, writing a song about things you didn't do yesterday. If you're actually into language or phonics, You can actually ask students to start with lines using certain phonics or syllable or letters of the alphabet. And here is one of the example, which is a picture show and tell activity. And on the side, I have a prompt that I created. Prompt I think is a joyful, bright day with flowers blooming. That's my description. Very easy. And I tell the platform to include pleasant and joyful lyrics. And this is what I got. So I actually got my library. When I actually generate it, because it takes some time, I got Whisper Symphony and Symphony of the Forest. And actually, if you want to listen to it, I can.
On the floor, quiet and brave.
So that's actually part of the song I generate, which is very cool. You don't need to know any songwriting composition knowledge at all by just giving prompt and tell the platform to generate a song for you. There are different platforms. These are 2-3 platforms you can actually try on your own for personalized reading. What Word is they have is a completely free platform for teachers. Actually, let me out. So if you go to content, there's so many ebooks online. You can actually assign your class of students or individual students according to grades or aligned to by books, by topic, by vocabulary, by I don't think you'll find curriculum useful because it's based in US, but you can actually find by topics, by vocabulary, or just by books and assign individual books for your students instead. Okay, wrapping it up very quickly. I'm going to go through quickly because I know the time is up. Lumio is one of the platforms that I use for engaging students. It's a PowerPoint presentation, but within the PowerPoint presentation, you can actually set classwork, individual work right into your slide. So when the slide hits group work, then the student can actually work in group if they actually have their own device. So this is a platform that I use if the students have their own device, either individually with their own individual device or as a group, one device, and they actually can work on this if you have a device. Other platform I use quite handy is giving comments to students. These are some of these ESL reports, teacher's room, and common breeze. So just a very quick go over. So this is the ESL report. For example, I want a student excellent focus, good attitude. It's a he, and it's Chris. Generate actually generate some comments for me to fall back on. So that I don't have to start from scratch, and you can actually change it if you don't like that. You can change it if you don't like that, and then copy and paste it. Comment generator is a little bit different. It's for you to build your own comments. It's a comment bank. After generating on the platform some comment, you can actually save it and then build your own and share with other teachers. So you can actually collaborate with a comment generator with with this app right here. There are other assessment and grading that you can use that I've also seen teacher uses, which is Google Form. They do auto grading, Quizlet, quizzes, and also Gradescape as well. Another problem that teachers always raise as a concern is cheating with AI. And there are a lot of platforms now. I feel, at least off the bat, I know I've been experienced 3 different platforms with AI to checking if it's actually the text is generated by AI, and AI checker is one of them. And you can actually browse through that on your own. Right, that's the end of it. That's all the 4 sessions. Is very ambitious that I want to go through everything, but that's all the session and also examples I go through today, 1, 2, 3, 4. Any other recommended tools or other ways that you use the tools that I presented? Or if you have other engagement, you can start make your way. Mentimeter, yes, very interactive with students. I like that. And they also, instead of a poll, they do word clouds as well, right? I quite like use the word cloud function of Mentimeter. But unfortunately, for the free version, the last time when I use it, it only for the free plan, it only gives you 5 questions. It's only when you actually pay for more, then you can actually have more questions. But I think for your lesson 5 or less question will be enough. And definitely for secondary and also college level, I do recommend Mentimeter. Any other recommendations or ways of using AI or sample activities that you want to raise, and maybe ask other people suggestions of what AI tools you can use? I'll give it, maybe you can type or you can also just shout it. Okay, thank you. It's a lot. I try to squeeze in a lot because I know that it's a very wide audience. I want to include a lot of different choices. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, here's some interesting figures about the trends of AI. One of the trend I think that it's gonna be continue is auto marking system and also personalized learning for students, where students log on, let's say reading, the AI will actually evaluate the student's ability and then direct them to different pathways of learning materials. That I think two of the trend that will be happening this year and also perhaps next year as well. Yes, you can access the recording later. I will send it to everyone. Plus also some demonstration in a more detailed form because I realized that I actually went through everything very quickly. So if you don't have any question, you can actually scan this QR code, give us some comment, or request a certificate of participation on the same form. I am going to put that link here in the chat box as well.